Now I'd like to call upon two special people. Jennifer Valentyne with City TV and Breakfast Television, who's been incredibly supportive to our family and is by far the most enthusiastic and positive and talented TV personality that I know. So we're so happy that you're here tonight. And she's going to join Lynda on stage. And I guess at this point, Lynda really needs no introduction. She's an amazing person. Nothing stops Lynda, and she certainly is the star of tonight's show. So please join me in welcoming Jennifer and Lynda.
I know you. My kids come to Adventure Valley, and how long did I know you before I even knew your story? And we were out at lunch one day, and we were talking about Sandy Wilshire, a medium that we both went to. And then you told me your story. Well, I couldn't get it out of my mind. And now I really know your story from reading this book. I feel like I know you even more now. And what an unbelievable story. And how you took a negative situation, a tragic situation, and managed to make it into something positive. And now I just found out you have 50 birdhouses. I can't believe it. Okay, I know that most of you, not all of you, know this story. 1970, I was 3 years old. But Air Canada Flight 621 crashed on July 5th in 1970. 109 passengers perished, including Lynda's mom, Rita, sister Carla, 11, and sister Wendy, 8. Now, let's just talk about repairing rainbows. First of all, why did you write the book? Why did you want to write this book?
I wanted to write the book because, first of all, I thought it was an important story to tell. It's a part of Canadian history. It's something that happened and affected many, many lives. And I also wanted to have an opportunity to let people know who are dealing with the tragedy that no matter what the tragedy is, you can choose to deal with it.
Now, why did you call it Repairing Rainbows?
Rainbows had always been a very important part of my life. For some reason, I always loved them. I used to love drawing them. And I really felt that my life was a broken rainbow for a long time, and that I went about and repaired it. I thought it was an appropriate name.
The way you write is the way you speak. And I really felt that when I was reading about that morning, that I was actually there. And I really felt it. So can you tell everybody, I know it's in the book, but about that morning?
That morning, we were in California. I had gone with my grandparents a week before and went for a family occasion and a celebration. And I went there so that I could set up our apartment that we were supposed to live in for a month. And I went with my grandparents, and my mother and sisters were going to be arriving on that morning, and my father was meant to come a week later. So we were already there and on California time, and at about 5:30 in the morning, I heard screaming and yelling. And I walked outside of the bedroom that I was sharing with my cousins and saw my grandparents and my aunt and uncle. Everybody was screaming, hysterical. So I just thought it was a nightmare. And then my aunt told me that my father had called and that the plane had crashed. And we didn't think there were any survivors. So, as a 13-year-old, I just thought this was a nightmare. We packed up our stuff. We went to the airport. And I was so excited because they let us sit in first class. And the flight attendant let me keep the little spoon, because I thought the spoon was so cute. And I still thought this was a nightmare, because this just wouldn't have happened until we got back to Montreal. And went home and started to realize as the days went on that this nightmare was reality.
Okay, now we're going to talk about your dad, because your dad wasn't on the flight with your mom and your two sisters because he had to work and he was coming after. Mm-hmm. So you were left alone with your father.
My father changed completely. My father went from being this jolly, happy man who told jokes all the time and whistled and hummed and We had a lot of really special rituals that we did together, and they all ended that day. He became a completely different man. He became a very sad, lonely man who cried all the time and never recovered.
And it's hard. I know as a teenager my mother passed away and I was living with my father alone, so I can only imagine what you were going through, and especially with the loss of your two sisters, what your father was going through. But I think you really understood him in the end.
I tried to understand him all the time, and I went through many periods of being really angry and resentful that he wasn't able to be a father to me anymore and that he was so different, because I kept saying that I'm still here, but he just couldn't seem to recover and be a father to me anymore.
Let's talk about your mom.
She was 39 years old. She was looking forward to having her 40th birthday, which was just a month and a half afterwards. And she worked full-time. She was a bookkeeper. She also did endless amounts of volunteer work. She started an organization that helped children in those days that were mentally retarded. That's what they called them then. And it was called the Montreal Association for the Mentally Retarded, and she was the president and wore a pin that with such pride because she had been so honored to have that opportunity to...
She wore that all the time.
She wore it all the time. She loved it. And she also took incredible care of her parents. Our house was always busy. There were always people over. She was always baking and cooking, and she made it all look easy.
You had a great family life.
Mm-hmm.
You were very close with your sisters. Your whole thing, it was nice.
It was amazing.
And your sisters, let's talk about your sisters.
Carla was 11. She was the serious one. She loved to read her books, do needlepoint. She loved to sit on the couch and cuddle with our cat, Tiger. And she always said she was going to be a doctor. She had a dry sense of humor. Wendy, on the other hand, was the total family entertainer. She never sat still long enough. She would have definitely been ADHD nowadays.
Yeah.
She was hilarious. She always made us laugh. She was always skipping. She loved to skip. She carried her skipping rope everywhere she went. She loved to sing and dance, and she was very hyper.
And you say that your youngest, Kimberly, reminds you of
Exactly, yes.
that everybody knows that.
Anyone who knows Kimberly and who knew Wendy says she came back. It's Kimberly.
And that could be true.
I believe it.
That could be true. What are 6 little eggs?
Little eggs.
I don't know what that is. Is that scrambled eggs or
Scrambled
little eggs?
eggs.
I've never heard of that before.
Well, we made it up.
You made it up?
Yeah.
And that's
Sisters and I used
your parents?
Yes, we used to do breakfast in bed for special occasions, turn the whole kitchen completely upside down and make these platters of little teeny eggs.
You
We
still
thought were
do
so
that?
cute. No.
Yeah. Everybody knows that. What happened? I don't know.
Skip the generation.
There must have. Okay, let's talk about Tiger, because Tiger was your sister's cat, and she loved that cat.
She loved that cat. We found Tiger as a very tiny kitten at my grandmother's house in her backyard. There was a litter of kittens, and we just had to keep Tiger. She was so cute. She had 3 litters of kittens before we could keep her in long enough to get her fixed. And Carla absolutely adored her. She slept with her. She was her cat. And when Carla was planning her trip, she put instructions for my father and whoever was coming in to look after Tiger in the basement on a blackboard that we had with such unbelievable detail, because she wanted to make sure that everything was done properly. She loved Tiger.
This killed me, because Tiger, you became very close with Tiger, you slept with Tiger, and then when your father moved on and married somebody else, she wanted to get rid of Tiger, and you really didn't have a choice. So you had to find a good home for Tiger. And that's tough.
It was really hard.